Welcome to the Fishbowl Radio, everybody. My name is Chief here, and joining me today is Jalen. We're going to be doing a little preview series of the Louisiana Raging Cajun baseball team. Going to be taking on Arkansas State here this weekend for their weekend series here. Jalen, it did not end up the way going in the Cajuns' way in Hattiesburg, getting swept by Southern Miss. Um, how you feel about it? Like, is this team trending in the right direction for you? Or, I mean, we were kind of using the phrase Jekyll and Hyde to describe this team a little bit here. Um, is that the case? I mean, the weak point for me this year for the Cajuns has been pitching. That reared its ugly head again. Southern Miss took advantage because, I mean, Sunday, perfect example, up, I think 4 or 5 runs. Southern Miss comes back and they can't stop them from scoring all those runs. So, what do you think, Jalen?
Yeah, I think the Cajuns baseball is still trending in the right direction. Losing the series to Southern Miss, but going 0-3 is not it's yeah, I wouldn't worry, but at the same time, it's not the best situation saying because I know we were talking about I know I said for sure they can go and steal 2 games. They didn't even steal 1 game. And sad to say, the first game they lost by 8 runs. The second game they lost by 10, but it ended in the seventh inning because it was like, okay, that's it, no more fight. So, and then to lose the last game, we already lost the series. I mean, they put up some more runs, but ultimately still lost to Southern Miss. I know Southern Miss is not only one of the best teams in the Sun Belt, but also one of the best teams in the country. But I felt the Cajuns could have played better than they did in all three of the games. I think you just have to move on. Don't let this loss like hinder you, and they have to prepare for Arkansas State.
Yeah, I mean it's easier said than done though, of course, here. Um, so I think if you look at Arkansas State, uh, I mean they're not that great of a team this year. Let's just be honest with it here. They're not RPI is very high at 144, even higher than the Cajuns here. And they're 24 and 26. The Cajuns themselves here are 25 and 27. Their RPI is at 104 right now, strength of schedule at 56 here. So the series in the grand scheme of things, if you really look at the standings and stuff in the Sun Belt here, it's not looking too um good to say the least here in terms of the baseball world here because this is not going to be a very good thing for the Cajuns here. So in the grand scheme of things, it's probably not going to matter much. I mean, you might say, well, Chief, in terms of seeding and look, I used a softball Sun Belt Conference tournament. Did seeding matter in that one at all? No, because you had a 5 and 7 team in your final, and the number 7 seed ended up winning the thing. So that tells you everything you need to know about conference seeding and conference tournament. Like I said many times, baseball and softball are weird sports where a weekend can turn around a whole entire season for a team, and they just get on these runs that are very hard to beat. And you hope it's your team that gets the run, and good luck to everybody else, basically. So, with that being said, though, Coastal and Southern Miss are leading the way in the conference. Coastal leading Southern Miss by 2 games in the regular season. So, they will probably win the regular season title. The Cajuns are currently in fourth place because they got the series win over Old Dominion. Arkansas State, like we mentioned before, is down there for sure. They are currently ninth. They're ahead of App State. So looking at that there, if you look at this standings here, in the grand scheme of things, if Arkansas State were to sweep the Cajuns, they would be 15 and 15. Cajuns would be 15 and 15 as well. They could fall to where they'd be tied with Arkansas State being eighth or ninth in the thing. That'd be probably won't happen. They probably won't get swept back to back weeks. I don't see that happening with this team. I would expect them to get at least one win out of the next 6 games to stop that at least. So with that being said here, I think the Cajuns do, if you look at their home and away schedule, yes, college baseball, you want to play at home, get that home field factor. Cajuns haven't been good in the road at all this year. They were 8 and 11 when they went to Hattiesburg and they left there with an 8-14 record. They're 17-13 at home. So that is something to look at here. I think that is something we need to look at. They definitely play better at home. I would like that home record to be better, obviously, than what the season has portrayed so far, but that's just something how it is. So Cajuns pitching here, like I said, it's been the weak point. That was the question mark entering in the season. Would the pitching be able to produce? Would they be able, aside from Chase Morgan on Friday nights? I mean, whenever they, I mean, we were early in the season, we were chalking up the Nebraska series as a big win. That didn't come to fruition at all. You see Irvine, a very good team, got swept over there on the road. Caden lost to Dallas Baptist. Everything they've had a top 25 team, they haven't won any top 25 games, the Cajuns have, except for the Dallas Baptist victory. They only had one win against top 25 teams so far. And they didn't play Coastal. Oh, excuse me, give me two. There's two. I forgot about Troy. Troy got in there. There's two top 25 wins for the Cajuns this year. So with Arkansas State, it's gonna be tough. Um, Looking at the way the championship is gonna be here. So in the great, you want to play less games, obviously,
Yes, you do.
uh, to win a tournament. So the Cajuns can't drop lower than 6. So they have a little buffer, and that could be the difference between playing at 9 a.m. or 7:30. As a baseball player, I would want to play like 4 or 7:30 because you'll get the evening. It's not nearly as bad, but the problem with the evening, you get to deal with the lights. But then again, it's like the sun basically. So, um, you got that. So if you stay at that 4 seed or 6 seed, you get one game. There's 2 games. You got to play at least. You got to play at least 4 games if you're just winning games or whatever, or five, actually 5 games technically, count the championship. But you get double elimination. That's the beauty about this here that you can lose a game and still be ahead of it. Not like the softball tournament where you lose one, you're done. This one is going to be an interesting one. I this is definitely playing for seeding and how you think you will be at the end of it here. So Jalen, what you think? You're like you think how you think the series goes for the Cajuns? Do they take 2 or 3? Do they sweep? How you think this is gonna go shake out for them?
Yeah, I think the Cajuns ought to sweep Arkansas State. Like I said, Arkansas State is kind of at the bottom half of the Sun Belt standings when it comes to baseball. Arkansas State, they're just playing to get into the tournament. I think the Cajuns are obviously a better overall. I think they're a better team. They have a higher chance of trying to even get a bid. I don't think they'll get it, but sweeping Arkansas State will not only get them one step further in the tournament, they'll try to solidify that 4 seed. But you never know if Troy loses a couple games too, they could slide up there right there to 3. But I don't think that's going to happen. But you just never know. Anything is possible. But I think they're going to sweep Arkansas State. They're going to end their the regular season, I should say, at home at the Teague with 3 straight wins going to the Sun Belt tournament.
I disagree with you. I think they're gonna win 2 or 3. I do think they get the series win. I don't think they're gonna get enough to sweep though, because I don't trust the pitching here, to be quite honest with you. As far as the tournament goes, positioning and that jockeying for positions and just trying to see how this goes here. I don't think the Cajuns have enough pitching to get through this tournament. I Because they're gonna have to probably play. They're gonna play at least a top 25 team somewhere, and whether that be Troy, Southern Miss, or Coastal Carolina. With you only having uh 2 wins on the year against top 25 teams that are currently ranked right now. It's not a good recipe for sure, and to add in the fact that you're not really good at playing on the road is also another thing that you got to take in the fact when you start talking about this team here. So yeah, I'm very more negative in terms of the baseball team this year, playing very well in the Sun Belt Conference tournament. I think this is just a down year, but I think they'll be back. I trust Deggs. I think he'll make the right moves in the offseason, get us back to where we need to be here. And But yeah, I look, I would not. It's hard to say because you want to be hot entering the conference tournament, but you don't want to be too hot. You want to just get started heating up because that run will carry you through your regionals and super regionals. So that's kind of where my headspace is at with it. You don't want to be too at the top of your game, but you don't want to be, way being cold either. You want to kind of find like a Goldilocks kind of zone if you're trying to, get the momentum and get, that heat wave that you got to just keep riding it out through the rest of the year toward the end here. But we got about a month left of like this college baseball season in general, whether it comes to Omaha and that kind of thing there. So the Cajuns got to win that tournament. Like it doesn't matter if they win this series, they're too high up in RPI. It wouldn't matter if they I think if they ran through the tournament, they ended up playing these three top 25 teams, Troy, Coastal, and Southern Miss. I don't think it would give them a low enough RPI to where it would get them in the tournament. I think they literally have to win the tournament here, and I think that's kind of a staring at the face kind of moment there, what's going on. So they got to do it, and they got to step up to the plate, and that's basically what's happening right now. So we'll see how all that goes here, basically. So let's start talking about this though, Jalen. The biggest story coming out of this weekend was Raging Cajun softball did not qualify for the NCAA tournament for the first time since 1998. Um, any thoughts on that?
I think to go that long, because that's over 25 years right there, over almost 30 years since the last time they missed the tournament. I mean, that's impressive in itself. I gotta give that to them. And I think when it comes to this season, the only reason they missed it, like I said, was because the coaching change, a lot of players transferring out, new players transferring in, they're trying to gel together. So in year one of Allison Habit, I think she did a good job. She definitely has a lot to go back and look at it and be like, okay, what can I have done better? Now I get to get another year of recruiting. People see that I'm taking over this program. So it's a lot to be proud of for educated softball, even though they didn't make the big dance. I still think that there's just a lot to move forward with.
I've been reading comments about this, and I'm kind of like, I think she did a great job with what she had. I know at the beginning of the season, and I said it throughout the season that I thought there was no ch talent on this team to make a regional, and I think there's some series that they just gave away at times, like. They earlier in the season, like toward the end there, they figured out how to close out teams. And they kind of got it going. I mean, this is a younger team and you kind of expect that whenever it's going on there. But if they could have just closed out some of those series like Marshall, I really look at that first like conference series with Marshall with a different point of view because I'm like, man, if they could have closed out that game and won, like you know how many one run losses this team had this year? They were so close to literally turning this thing around and being a very I'm gonna bring up their schedule here real quick here and I'm gonna show you what I'm talking about here because this is something that I think is very important. Let me see. I'm about to pull this up here real quick. Just give me a second here to get this pulled up and swap and show you on my screen and stuff so you can understand what I'm talking about here. But the amount of one loss games here. Kind of like it reminded me of but going in the opposite direction of the 2021 Raging Cajun football team. They won a lot of close games here, but they won the Sun Belt Championship and Billy Napier went to Florida at the end of the year and that kind of thing there. But this I know it's different sports, but you could kind of draw comparisons about what happened there. There's a lot of one loss games yeah, one run, not one loss game, one run games, excuse me. With this softball team here. So just getting timely hitting. I think this team needs to add some more power hitters to the lineup here. Like let me see here. Like the 3-4 loss to Auburn was one. Um 5-6 against Marshall. I look at that one. McNeese 4-5. That's three. Coastal 4. Troy 5. Troy again 6. 4 to 5, 5 to 6, like 5. Louisiana Tech 6. James Madison was 1. 7. They lost series. 8. Texas State 9. They've had 9 1-run games get away from them. Now, if you want to swap that record around, hold on. Let me go flip this around so you can. I'm gonna share my screen with you, Jalen. That way you can see what is going on. Let's share this here. Oh, gotta turn that off. Okay. So we had 9 1-run lost games here. So Jalen, you're able to see everything.
Yep, able to see the screen.
So if you look at this here, there's 9 1-run games here. So I'm gonna go down, just kind of go through everything here. The Seton Hall game, they could have won that one, I think. I think that one just got away from them too, but it's not a 1-run game. But 9 of these games were 1-run games. The loss to Auburn 3-4, that's one right there. Marshall 2, 3, 4. They've had some they won, but they definitely lost more than they had. So 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. See, they ended up winning this one. And then you see, they like toward the end of the year, they started closing these games out. They had 9. So if you flip this record, uh, up here, this 29-25. We add 9 more wins to that, you got 38 wins, okay? And if you subtract 9 losses from that 25, you're putting yourself in a pretty good record, would you say?
Yeah, absolutely.
You would be at a 38-16 record on the year, and your RPI would have certainly been higher. Let's go back and see who they lost to and where they ended up with the 1 run, you know. So Marshall being a 79, you would have got a little bit more bonus points there, 72. See the Coastal right here, that 44 would have helped out a good bit with a win, especially on the road too. That'd have really hyped them up a good bit. 12 108 wouldn't have helped you too much. 77. Their RPI would have been higher though. Texas State, that's 40, 49. Another one would have helped out there too. So I would have imagined they would have been, if you look at it, if they would have won those games, I feel like their RPI would have been in the top 40, I think, considering the strength of schedule and non-conference strength of schedule. So I think that would have put them in a very favorable spot there. And that you probably be looking at this number right here, probably being in the 40s, I think, if they get those 9 wins and flip the script there. So that is something that yeah, that is something that we'll have to look at as we go forward here. So uh I think that I think they're gonna be okay. I think they'll be back. They got a lot of young talent on this team, and that is a very good, positive thing to have. I'm only worried about the transfer portal, NIL getting involved here, but typically they won't bet like other like Power Five and team won't mess with a team that didn't make the NCAA tournament. So that's a good place to be. Being like not making the tournament can actually be a blessing for the Cajuns this year because if they would have made the tournament, you'd have more eyeballs on you, and there's more chances for your players to get poached. So in that situation, I think it's really good for the Cajuns. What you think, Jalen?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's a great situation. Like I said, going into next season, as we're preparing for now, the Cajuns are going to be back. They're going to be better than ever. Allison Habber's year 2. It's hard to do a lot in your first year, and the fact that she even had them in a chance of even winning the Sun Belt tournament says a lot. I think it's a success in year 1, and I can't wait to see what's going to happen for this Cajun softball team in the future.
Yeah, we'll see what happens in 2026 for the Red Cajun softball team here. Red Cajun baseball is going to take on Arkansas State this weekend. It should be it's a Thursday, Friday, Saturday matchup. So we hope to see y'all uh over there supporting the Cajuns. And we'll talk to y'all guys some other time. Thank you for tuning in here to this episode here of the Fishbowl Sports Radio. We'll see you here next time. Fishbowl Radio. Have a good night, Fishbowl Nation.